150.
Carol's not here.
Throughout the semester, we have typically talked about, the objectives of this particular channel of business, and it was finance and service. And we've talked a lot about math and how to formulate an objective and how to set goals, and then we kind of put that into accounting principles so that we can create budgets. But in reality, when it gets right down to it, for you to make money in this channel of business, you have to understand what you're selling. A la, what is my menu? So I could very easily tell you that there are lots of bags of money hidden in the concession operation. But if you wanted to know where to start looking for the money, it starts right here in the products or the menu that you set up and you offer. We talked about this a couple of times, how we wanted to have balance. We want to have some items that have a gross profit very, very high. We blend in some other items because we know that all people have different taste in their foods, or whatever their entertainment selection is for food. So in our particular case, you can see that there are a lot of profit areas that we can increase. So high volume independent concessions, year over year comparisons. Gross profits increase from somewhere around 10.9%. Gross sales increase 6.6%. You can reduce food costs by 1.9% by having the right menu selections and the right blend. Globally, if we got outside just United States, we're seeing people that are increasing their gross profits by almost 5%, and they're reducing their food cost by as much as 7 to 8%. So this aspect, even though it's at the end of the year, end of the semester, really can determine how profitable you can be. And leading up to this point, what we've really tried to talk about is understanding what the objectives are, highlighting what those are, and driving in that direction. Now we're here where we have to determine what our menu will be. So, why do we have the menu that we do? Anybody want to guess? Why do we have the kind of selections that we have?
They're easy to make and to keep.
Excellent.
And to distribute.
Yes. So we can mass produce these kinds of items because we have masses of people coming all at the same time. Unlike some of the restaurants that you guys work in where you have a table that comes in and they've got an hour or two, and then another table comes in a few minutes later, and another table comes in a few minutes later. We have thousands of people that all arrive at the same time, and they all want the same service. And so when you start to develop your menu, you have to think of the variety or the motives on why people are there and what we're going to do to satisfy them. First of all, speed of service. How many of you have completed your little task where you're going to check out transaction times?
I'm working on mine.
Okay. Have you guys finished it?
How many in total were we supposed to have?
You're supposed to have 5.
Okay.
5 different locations.
I got 3.
Okay. Anyway, the difference between this channel of business and any other channel of business is speed of service becomes the most important piece. So if you're going to a football game, for example, you typically would get there, 20 or 30 minutes in advance, right? Maybe earlier. If you're tailgating, maybe you're there all day. I don't know. But the point is, when you buy a ticket to a football game or a concert or a basketball game, you're not there necessarily to stand in line. You're there for the event. And so it's our objective on this channel of business as managers to get people through the lines as quickly as we can. So speed of service becomes number 1. Number 2, the entertainment factor. More often than not, I have to answer questions to the media about theaters and why we don't have more healthy items. things that are good for you, right? Any of you want to speculate why we serve the foods we serve in movie theaters?
Because they're popular and they make you money.
They're popular and they make us money. Yes, that's correct. We're entrepreneurs. What do entrepreneurs do?
They set.
They find a need and they fill it. So what's the need in a movie theater?
Snacks.
Snacks, exactly. See, what happens is the average person goes to the movies 4 times a year, average. I'd say 75% of the people that go to movies go about 4 times a year. Would you agree? Okay. And in those 4 times, and you go to that movie, you're escaping reality, so to speak, right? So you're leaving exercise, you're leaving healthy foods, you're trying to go for some entertainment. So you want a large soda and a large popcorn and some sugar. You don't necessarily want spinach salads, sugar-free candy, etc. Unless you're on a dietary kind of restriction. But here's my point. My point is, we in this industry sell what people want to buy. And so for people to tell us that we should be selling spinach salads, doesn't make sense, does it? All right. The other thing that people forget is that in these menus that we derive and designate, everybody has a choice, right? We're seeing more and more diversity in the items that are being offered. Kevin, do you like hot dogs?
Mm-hmm.
You might have a hot dog. Rachel, you like hot dogs? Yeah. Jessica? Okay. I was hoping somebody would say no. And then the reason I said I would hope you say no is because we offer a variety of things. You don't have to have a hot dog. Maybe you get a chicken sandwich. Maybe you get a pizza. Maybe you just get popcorn and candy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so there's always diversity, and people have the right to make their own choices. What we try to do is we try to enhance the experience, the entertainment experience, with some of the food items. How do we do that?
Sugar.
Sugar, yeah. Everybody likes sugar, right? What's another one?
Salt.
Salt. There you go. Sugar and salt. That's what we all need. What I was really kind of driving at is, if you went to a baseball game, we want our menus to fit the experience, right? So if I said baseball, what kind of food would you think?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs. How can I make the experience better with a hot dog?
Combos.
Pardon me?
Combos.
Combos. I was thinking more of the type of hot dog you would sell. You could have a foot-long hot dog, right? Or you could have a Pronto Pup, right? Or you could have chili and cheese, right? Or you could have a Chicago dog where you put tomatoes and pickles and all kinds of stuff on top of your hot dog, right? So we're enhancing the entertainment experience. We do the same thing in sporting venues. We like to sell sodas, right? How do we enhance the entertainment experience? With sodas.
Refills.
Refills. All you can drink. What else? Think in terms of fun. How do you make a drink fun?
Straws.
Yeah, straws.
Straws. Excellent idea. Yeah, so at the theaters from time to time, we'll get different character straws and have an upsell.
Or the cups.
The cups, collectible cups, exactly. And you can do paper or with some logos on there. You could do some that have special graphics, very slick, cool looking things that you can take home and be proud of. So we're trying to increase the entertainment experience. And then the third piece, did I go too far? Is convenience. And this is one that we can't ever forget. Because in our channel of business, recreational food service, sporting venues, it's all about how can I get this and keep it easy, simple. Keep it simple. So remember this, the 3 motives in this industry for creating the right kind of foods, right menus, is speed of service, entertainment, and convenience. Now there are 6 basic categories when we come up with menus. right. The first one's going to be beverages. Hot and cold. So you could have cold sodas, diet sodas, bottled water. We talked about coffee a lot. Seems to be a new trend. People are wanting coffee in these stadiums. Lattes, mochas, cappuccinos, espresso. You can see carbonated beverages. That's like your Coca-Colas of the world. Frozen beverages. What's a frozen beverage?
Spicy.
Icy, yeah.
Smoothies.
Yeah, smoothies, excellent. Now, I want to kind of interject this a little bit. If you ever get in this business and people tell you that frozen beverages are highly profitable versus a regular drink, don't be fooled.
You got the machine and like all the upkeep and like all that kind of jazz.
That's correct. There's a lot of maintenance involved. But what they'll tell you is that when you have a frozen beverage, you literally whip air into that frozen beverage, right? And it expands. And they tell you if you take a frozen beverage, have you ever done this, taken an icy and just let it sit for a little while? And what happens?
It melts and then it gets smaller.
It melts and you got like a half a cup, right? And so they're saying what we're doing is we're giving you an expansion here, and it's going to blow up, and it's going to look like the cup is full, but guess what? You're only putting that much drink in there. Now, I think last week, did you guys talk about yields with beverages with Ashley? Good. Guess what? If you took a regular 24-ounce beverage and you took the ice out of it, how much soda would be in there?
Well, yeah.
It depends on whatever your,
On the test,
Combustion
it was
rate.
like 14.8 out of a 16-ounce cup.
yeah, and that's an 80% yield.
80% yield.
Yeah. Okay, but if you had 66%, if you had, say, 75% of the cup is full of ice, you'd have less drink in there, right? And the other thing that occurs is that icy or frozen beverages, the syrup is about double what the cost of regular Coca-Cola syrup or Pepsi syrup is. So the cost is higher, but guess what? The yield is about the same. But they'll tell you that you're going to get an expansion, much like popcorn. We talked about popcorn expansion. So be careful. Anyway, back to the 6 basics. Then you have alcohol and spirits. We can put beer in there. The next piece is sausages or hot dogs. We can almost include sandwiches here, but you can have Italian sausages, you can have bratwurst, you can have a regular hot dog, you can have a foot-long hot dog. Popcorn and peanuts. Again, these are snacks, edible snacks that once they're consumed, it's all gone. And then prepackaged items. So we could have potato chips maybe, but mostly we're talking about candy. You can have nacho chips. What's the advantage of having prepackaged menu items?
There's no work.
There's no work, very little labor, good. What else? What's our number one goal? What's our number one motive?
Fast service.
Fast service. Do you have to prepare anything? No, you just reach down, you get the candy and you hand it to them. You get the chips, you hand it to them. It's the fastest. What else is good about prepackaged? What about portion sizes? Everyone is exactly the same. What about shelf life?
Longer.
Typically lasts longer than a pizza that's made and it sits in a warmer. Yeah. So prepackaged goods have a variety of different advantages. What are the disadvantages of prepackaged goods?
You gotta keep them cool.
Well, you got to keep them at the right temperature. Okay? Well, we're going to do that with all our foods. But prepackaged foods, what's a disadvantage?
It's not fresh.
It doesn't appear to be fresh. Yeah. It doesn't look handcrafted, does it? Yeah.
It's also a limited supply too. You can't make more of it.
That's right. You can't make more. And then sandwiches and then other foods. So sandwiches would be like hamburgers, wraps, barbecue, etc. Other foods, that takes into account whatever your creative juices let you do. So you could have nachos, or you could have pizzas, or you can have pretzels, or you can have, I'm talking soft pretzels here. but you can have what I'm going to tell you is that in our industry, 1, 2, 3, 4 take up and make up 85% of all sales. It's been that way since day one. Even though we've created new things in the industry such as nachos, they were invented back in the 70s. You know, pizza's always been around, but it's just now sort of become very popular in our kind of channel of business. Soft pretzels was one of the #1 growing items, snack items in concessions over the past few years. But all these things do is cannibalize each other in some of this stuff. So remember, 85% of our business typically comes from these 4 categories. If I were going to say beverages, what percent of the business develops beverages? 50%. If I said popcorn, what percent is that? Probably 25% to 30% in movie theaters. Movie theaters. What percent is hot dogs or sausages?
At a movie theater?
That's the right question. See, if I were to switch gears and say we went to baseball, guess what? Hot dogs are probably going to be 25 to 30%, and popcorn's only going to be about 5%. Popcorn, peanuts. Candy in stadiums and arenas does not do very well. Why? We talked about it a little bit. See if you remember. Why does candy not do so well in a baseball stadium in the summer when it's 92 degrees?
Oh, because it melts?
It melts, yeah. So you eliminate most of that opportunity. You've got these stands outside. Now, in some cases, you know, you've got indoor arenas now where, you know, temperatures can be controlled a little bit better. But typically, candy does not do well in outdoor arenas. Concerts. Why does candy not do so well with concerts?
No one's really
No one's eating at a
eating
concert.
during a concert.
What are they doing?
Drinking.
Drinking what?
Beer.
Beer.
Alcohol.
So how does your Snickers and your beer go together? No. We're back to the salt thing versus the sugar, right? So we're going to have salty items at concerts. So what we have to do is we have to think about what the retail initiatives might be if we start to create a new menu or menu in this business. So now there are newer motives. People like novelties. So you remember the 3 motives that we had? What were the 3 motives?
Speedy service.
Right? It's in the book.
Entertainment.
Entertainment and convenience. That's right. What does this look like right here when I say novelties?
Entertainment.
Entertainment. That's exactly right. I said they're new motives, okay? It's just a twist on entertainment. That's exactly right. Packaging.
Entertainment.
Convenience. Remember we talked in terms of the pretzel and the pretzel box? Remember when we talked about that? And you can get it in the wrapper, right? But you can't hardly set that wrapper down. But in the box, if it's in the box, you can take a piece and hold it. Same thing here. Packaging is very interesting. If you look at the studies of bottled water, for years we had water fountains and we gave away free water in cups in stadiums. But at some point in the 90s, there was a change and we started selling bottled water. Who could have ever imagined that we took something that was free to everybody with water fountains everywhere, and they're paying, at the time, $2 for something that was typically free? Why? Convenience, packaging. You know, you walk up to a water fountain, it's free, you get a drink. But you know what we saw? We saw people taking the bottles and they would take a swig and they put the cap back on it and either put it in their backpack or their purse and carry it with them, and it was about the packaging. It wasn't about the water. It wasn't about healthy. It was about the packaging. And then value. Now this is a little bit different than the other pieces. So this is convenience and the other one's entertainment, but people now are looking for value. And so if you know, I've tried to stress on multiple occasions, getting the value proposition into the consumer's mindset, right? Then we talk about the popcorn, and you can go buy it at Kroger's, and you can put all the little bags in there, and you spend 3 times what you do at a movie theater. Free refills. So everybody's looking for value. All right. When you create a menu, I have this little acronym. It's called Think in Terms of Set. The first one is skill set. What abilities do the employees need to have, or your staff need to create this stuff? It was interesting. Yesterday, I happened to have some time with the director of tennis out at Windike Country Club. And he was very interested in the theater industry, or our channel of business. And he said, I understand that you teach these classes all over the world, and it seems to be very technical, and you talk in terms of leadership skills, the core values, emotional intelligence. He said, but it seems to me that the people that you're dealing with don't have the same skill set as most professions. And I told him he's right. I said, the people that work in a concession stand are not IT analysts for Federal Express, okay? No, that's not their skill set. What are their skills? What are the skill sets for a concession person?
Selling.
Selling, upselling, good. What else?
Fast,
Fast. What else?
good people skills.
Good people skills. All of these are important, and we can transcend those into any other business. So maybe it's not as analytical, okay? But the skill sets have to fit what we're trying to do. So you have to think in terms of the individual. Now, there's a significant change in the way that most of the food service in this channel of business is turning to. And you kind of witness it in Malco theaters, for example. We're creating bars everywhere. We're putting in restaurants and extended menus. Stadiums and arenas have clubs and catering and skyboxes and in-seat services where they take your order at the seat and they bring you the food. So the menus have changed, but in the past I've always said, would I need a sous chef at the Paradiso? No? Why not?
I mean, back then, before you started doing anything more technical than pizzas and popcorn, no.
No.
It'd be
Why?
a waste of money.
It's a what? Well, we'd be overpaying
Yeah.
somebody. Their skill set is much higher, okay, and they're taught all kinds of things like garnish and sauces, and we don't have any of that, right? So why would I take somebody that has that skill set and put them in something they're not going to be successful in? Very similar with vendors in stadiums. What kind of person do you need in a stadium that's going to walk around and sell cotton candy? Thank you.
Someone who's loud.
Someone that's loud, got a big voice. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. What else?
Someone that's strong, able to carry the tray.
Somebody that's physically fit. Exactly. Exactly. So when you think in terms of your menu, you have to start thinking in terms of what are the skill sets for the employees? Equipment. What kind of equipment do I need? There was a time when in this concession industry, all we needed were soda fountains and popcorn machines, right? Pretty simple. Everything else was kind of a packaged good. We might have a hot dog roller grill because we're selling hot dogs. But what's happened now?
People demand more and variety.
We've changed the variety of menus, so now we've changed kind of the equipment piece. I know some people like to use stone ovens to bake their pizzas. Other people like to use conveyor ovens. Why would you use a conveyor oven versus a stone?
It's quicker.
Quicker?
Mhm.
Are you sure?
I would assume so. Because you can control the temperature on that easier, right?
Yeah.
Than the stone oven.
Yeah. But typically, let's just assume that it takes 4 minutes to cook a pizza at 500 degrees. So if I put it in a stone oven, or I put it here, it should cook the same, right? What's the advantage for the conveyor?
You can put more pizzas in.
I can put more pizzas in there. There's a higher, what you're going to see next, throughput. In other words, I can continually bake pizzas. If I take one pizza, put it in a stove oven, what do I have to do? I have to wait for that pizza to get finished before I can put another one in. Conveyor oven, you just keep feeding them in. So, one of the things that we see like in bowling centers. They have a lot of groups and parties, birthday parties. They may need 17 or 18 pizzas, in 30 minutes. A stone oven, that wouldn't work. Okay, so we use a different kind of oven for that. So equipment. You got to think in terms of the space. How much space do you have? There was a time when we were all guilty of this. What we would do is we'd build a stadium, right? And then the leftover spaces, we'd say, okay, we could put a concession stand here, and we could put a little food outlet over here, we could put a kiosk over here. And guess what? Was that productive or efficient? No. Do you know what they're doing now?
Building around.
They're building basically a building, a shell, and then they're saying, okay, we want a club. We want restaurants. So we're going to design the restaurant over here, and this is going to be the space, and this is what they need, and this is where the vent hoods are going to vent. And they think in those terms because they can always find room for the seats. Space. I'm going to tell you a story here in a minute about this very thing. Budget and utilities. What's it going to cost? So you were very wise when you said some of the IC equipment is very, very expensive and it needs a lot of maintenance. So what's my return on investment? That's why we kind of did some of those analytics early in the semester, and we talked about how much money is this piece of equipment going to produce for us? And so that's why we did the break-even point. Do you remember that? A lot of times I have managers, I say, I'd like to get a piece of equipment, and I think I'll say, another IC machine. I say, okay, I want you to do the break-even point for me. And it turns out that we would actually lose money if we got another piece of equipment because we would only end up selling 4 or 5 more ICs a day, and those 4 or 5 ICs certainly don't justify, a $20,000 to $25,000 investment, and then the maintenance and the higher food cost. And then finally, utilities. A lot of times people will get a great idea on a menu item, for example, a coffee machine. Let's talk in terms of like Lavazza or Nespresso or even Starbucks. What kind of electricity does one of those machines take?
A lot.
220, okay? Not 110. And guess what? This concession layout, all it has is 110. So you go buy the equipment, and guess what? You can't plug it in. So now you have to run electricity to it. I tell the story of a friend of mine, and if I've already told it, you can raise your hand and tell me to stop. There was a guy in Arkansas, and he had a little threeplex, and he came to one of the conventions and he saw the sales of pizzas, and he said, I want to sell pizzas. So he went out and he bought a Turbo Chef oven. Are you familiar with Turbo Chef ovens? Okay, Turbo Chef ovens are they use 3 different types of heating elements. One is microwave, one is infrared, and the other is regular conventional oven. And by doing that, you can reduce the cost of time that it takes to cook anything. So you would basically set it up. You could actually do French fries in it because the infrared makes it crispy on the outside, right? The baking gives it the heat. You don't necessarily need microwave for that, but you can actually put lasagna in a Turbo Chef, and it will bake lasagna for you in less than 2 minutes, as opposed to the 15 or 20 minutes you would have otherwise. So he decides he's going to do this. So he goes out and he buys a Turbo Chef oven. This Turbo Chef oven was 10 grand, $10,000. Now let's remember, how big is this theater? 3 screens. He has, less than 500 seats in the entire building. All right, so the maximum is 500 seats. He's going to introduce a new item, pizza. He's excited. Sound good? Okay. His whole concession stand was no bigger than from this table to that wall. Okay. He had a back counter the same way. The Turbo Chef oven gets delivered, and it's probably got a footprint about this wide, about this tall, and a little deeper than this table. Where does he put it? Can't put it on the front counter.
On the back wall.
He's going to put it on the back counter, but it's already full back there because he's got his popcorn machine and his nachos and everything else. He kind of thought about that in advance, but he wasn't really sure. So he decided that right next to the back wall, okay, was a utility closet, a storage closet. So he says, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take that storage closet out, okay? And I'm gonna extend that cabinet all the way across, and then I can put the pizza oven back there. $8,000 after they took that out and created a new piece. So now how much money is he out? 18. Now he goes to plug it in, and guess what?
Not a power.
Takes 220. Doesn't have the power. So he calls the electrician and says, I need a plug. The electrician comes out and says, well, I can put a plug in, but your breaker box is completely full. The only way to fix this is to bring in more power from the street. Another $10,000.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Now he's up to $18,000. He didn't consider space. He didn't put a budget. He didn't do the break-even point. He didn't think about the utilities. Guess how many pizzas he sold each week?
1.
8. So he had a brilliant idea, but it did not meet these kinds of credentials. So think in terms of the skill set and then the equipment that you're going to be required for any of your new items that you add. Next.
But at least he cooked those pizzas in 2 minutes.
Yeah, at least he cooked the pizzas in 2 minutes. That's
Yeah.
it. So he got the speed right.
28.
Okay, good. The next thing is time. How long does it take to prepare any of these items that you have? And as we extend the menus, as this industry starts to grow the variety of things that we're offering, we're not paying enough attention to the time elements. So for example, how long does it take to sell a box of candy?
10 seconds.
10 seconds the most. How long does it take to fill a soft drink, a 44-ounce soft drink? If you put it underneath the spigot, you push the button, how long does it take to fill it?
Like 5 seconds.
No,
Maybe 10 seconds.
longer.
30.
No, between 15 and 18 seconds.
I think it was soda as that. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that Sonic, the Route 44s, you would have to, like, it would take a minute and then you would still have to fill it a little bit. to
Yeah,
get it
yeah, because it's
set.
carbonated, it flows up. Correct. So now we're at the Ridgeway Cinema. We're now making hamburgers, handcrafted burgers. We're doing grilled chicken sandwiches. We're doing pizzas. We're doing salads. Everything is made to order. How long does it take to make a pizza, for example, in a stone oven?
8 minutes.
Yeah, 4 to 5 minutes. And that doesn't count the prep time when you have to put the sauce on there and the cheese and the ingredients. How long does it take to make a grilled chicken sandwich if you're using real chicken breast? 5 or 6 minutes. You remember what I told you the average transaction time should be?
6
Seconds.
minutes.
No?
2 minutes.
No? Lower?
60 seconds.
60 seconds, about a minute. You know, we try to have a goal of 45 seconds, knowing full well we won't. A lot of people are about 1:30. When I just told you about these chicken sandwiches and everything taking 8 minutes, how does that fit into our speed of service?
Slows it down.
Slows it down considerably, yeah. So if I'm at an amusement park and I'm going to spend the day and I'm going to walk around, 6 or 8 minutes is really not a big deal for me, right? But if I get to the movie theater or I get to the sporting event 10 minutes before the game starts, I don't want to wait in line for my food for 8 to 10 minutes. I want to grab and go. All right, so time is one of the constraints. And then throughput. How fast can I get it out? Are there complications? All right, you're going to have to work the lights for me. Okay. Please. I'm going to turn the lights off because I want you to see some of the ways we manage around this. Does anybody know what this is? Can you see the screen?
It's like a bar.
It looks like a bar. That's exactly what it is. It's a wine bar. This happens to be TD Gardens in Boston. And TD Gardens has multiple events. So they've got hockey, they've got basketball, they've got concerts, they do Disney on Ice. So they've got all kinds of different kids venues, right? And I'm going to go through and show you a lot of the different concession stands. What do you think is interesting about this? What do you notice right off the bat?
It's got the menu posted.
Very good. So you can see the menu up here.
It looks empty.
Well, it is empty because it's closed.
Oh.
The stadium is closed. The arena is closed. What I was trying to point out is that it's mobile. You see the wheels down here?
Oh, wow.
Right now, it's pushed back in an alcove. They have no need for it. If they had a Celine Dion concert, where do you think this would be pushed?
Not in the middle.
Out in the middle of the concourse, exactly, right? So it's a piece of equipment that's become versatile. It's very specific to the demographics. If they had Disney on Ice, where do you think it would be?
Away.
Back, yeah. So what's kind of unique about this is you have a full service bar. This bar probably cost about $25,000. They didn't have to do a lot of construction, right? So the space is utilized and it kind of can blend in with any particular event that occurs.
But does that only work for wine? Like, that couldn't be a full service bar, right? Because there's no like ice or refrigeration or.
It
anything
can.
like that? It can?
Yes, so you can have the same thing, and you're going to see in a few minutes, I'm going to show you a slide of a beer stand. Heineken has a beer stand, and they put a popcorn warmer or popcorn machine right behind it, so beer and popcorn. But in this particular case, it's a very unique way of using space. Utilities, what kind of utilities does it require?
Maybe 110 for.
110 for refrigeration, yeah. Yeah, no 220. The lighting is kind of subtle,
Mhm.
but to your point, it looks like a full service bar.
Well, what gave it away was the racks for the wine glasses. on
Yeah,
top.
yeah. So now we want to talk in terms of profit impact. We always want to think in terms of rounding prices. Typically, we round to the nearest quarter. Why do we do that? Why do we round to the nearest quarter?
So it makes it easier to count.
That's exactly right. Keep it simple. Remember speed of service. We don't want to count pennies and nickels and dimes, right? Now, there's been a transition over the past 10 years. The transition is that people are using credit cards now. And so we're not counting change anymore. So you remember when I told you early on, the tax was already included in the price? So if you sold a hot dog for $3, the tax was already included. We did that for speed of service. Now that people are using credit cards, it doesn't matter. We're not counting change. So typically, we've always concentrated on rounding the prices. Perceived value. What's perceived value? Give me some examples of perceived value.
Like what we were talking about with the pretzels and the packaging.
Exactly. That's one. So packaging or presentation can change the perceived value. What else?
Offering combos.
Combos. So if you buy one item, you can get the next one, and it's kind of discounted because the combo price might be a little less. That's not always the same, because there are a lot of people that will charge, if a large drink is $5 and a hot dog is $3, they charge $8. So why would you do that? Ease. Just keep it simple. Give me a number one combo. Okay? Companies like Malco, we do offer discounts. So we have a family combo. Have I told you about the family combo? Okay. One of the things that we noticed, or I noticed in the industry, is that a family of 4 would come in, right? They'd get one large drink and one popcorn, and they'd go sit down. Now, at Malco, we have a perceived value of free refills, right? And so they would typically bring their little sippy cups in Mama's purse, and she'd get out the candy, because the perceived value is that if everybody got a drink, everybody got a popcorn, everybody got a candy, it was going to be $35, right? But I decided what we would do is we would create a family combo where you get 4 drinks, right? A jumbo tub of popcorn with free refills, and a chocolate candy. Why did I say chocolate candy? Who am I going for here?
Kids.
No?
Parents.
Mama.
Mom.
We want to make mama happy, okay? Mamas typically like chocolates. Kids like gummies and sours.
You should do a special on wine then.
Pardon me?
You should do a special on wine then.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because we did. We did. We actually had a red wine and dark chocolate candy. Demic was the name of the candy. High quality candy at a couple of our locations.
When was that? I'll go to that.
Yeah, it's at the Ridgeway. Yeah, so,
Yeah.
and it was a discounted price, so a typical glass of wine was $8 and this candy bar was normally $5. We did it combined, okay, $8, it was basically a $12 offering. So you saved $1 if you got the red wine or any wine and the chocolate bar. It didn't sell. Yeah. But we're back to perceived value. What else can we do for perceived value? Combos, packaging. How about free refills? So we offer free refills on popcorn and sodas in our company, right? How many people come back and get a free refill?
It's rare.
Yeah, probably not a whole lot.
10%. 90% of the people don't get refills.
No one wants to miss the movie.
That's exactly right. That's why they buy the large. That's why they buy the jumbo popcorn, because they're going to be there for 2.5 hours and they don't want to miss the movie.
Y'all should invest in people that come in the theater
I was just about to say the
Like-
same thing.
halfway through the movie with a huge thing of just like that popcorn and
Yeah.
a little bar thing.
Yeah,
Just
Like for
refill
real.
your stuff.
yeah,
That'd be sweet.
yeah. So you bring up a good point. You think we haven't thought about that already?
Yeah, I'm sure y'all have. It
Well,
probably
it'd be
really
disruptive
doesn't make
to-
sense.
That's exactly right. When you pay $11 or $12 to watch a movie,
Yeah.
most people are offended if there's somebody saying, "Hey, can I get a refill?" or getting up, walking past you when you're trying to watch the movie to get the refill or the free candy or whatever there is that's out there.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, Dr. Palakirthi and I are working on a research paper right now, and we're highlighting why do people go to movies, okay? And then what is the disruption they don't like? And you would think that in-theater dining would be really kind of convenient, right? I can go in, sit there, I push a button, a server comes over, takes my order, they go back, right? I don't have to do anything. They're going to serve me. People do not like that at all in movie theaters. Not at all. Anybody been to a FedEx Forum? Watch a basketball game? Have you ever seen the
I love
in-service?
Yes, I
Yeah.
love those people.
You love those people. Yeah. Yeah.
That's,
So I think it's great for the convenience.
yeah.
Okay? Because I really don't want to get out of my seat and go to the concession stand at a Grizzlies game because it's close. I want to see the next score. I don't know who's going to get fouled. I'm into the game, right? But guess what else happens? While I'm sitting where you're at, Sharon wants something, so the person comes over and stands right in front of me and takes Sharon's order. Now I can't see the game. I'm like, move, right or left. Either way, I paid a lot of money for this ticket. I want to see the game. So there are trade-offs, but perceived value is very, very important when you're trying to design a menu in this operation.
What about, have you guys thought about putting, like smaller, concession stands, like, I know, like right in the center, when you first walk in is a good idea, but then also like some like halfway down the hallway, just like a refill station.
Yes.
Kiosks.
Yeah,
Yes.
a little kiosk, that's the word.
We actually, there are a number of our locations where we have what we call auxiliary concession stands, so you don't have to go all the way back.
Mhm.
That was one of the ideas that I had, because when I first came to work from Alco, we started stadium seating. And what that created was this huge loft, and there was empty space underneath the seating areas. And I wanted to start putting in like an ice cream shop and maybe a donut shop, much like we do in stadiums. So if you walk around any stadium, you can see all the concessions are typically under the seating areas in most cases, specifically college football. But the reality is, every time you open one of those stands, what does it require?
Air conditioning.
No, people, labor.
Mm.
So now instead of having the one central location, I got people spread out everywhere. And guess what? They're not really buying much. We've even tried putting carts out that we can wheel in and out, much like the wine bar you just saw. People have, it's just not enough business to justify the labor and the other things that take place. So to your point, have we thought about it? Absolutely. Is it viable? Sometimes. I know there's a company called AMC. They're based out of Kansas City. They set up a lot of kiosks with freestyle drink machines. So you come out of your auditorium, you go to that freestyle machine, push a button. Most of the time, people leave movie theaters or sporting events to do something other than get food. What is it?
Go to that.
Go to the bathroom. and they'll walk right past one of those refill stations because they're going to the bathroom. And then they're back in. So, but these are good thoughts that you guys have. It's a process of thinking things through. So perceived value, what's the price? We talked about combos. We talked about packaging. In this particular case, this happens to be Dallas Cowboy Stadium. And the way you can extend your menu and still keep speed of service in mind is by creating specialty stands. So instead of having a menu that has 47 items on it, you could have one concession stand or concession area that has Mexican food. You could have one that has pizzas. You could have one that has hamburgers. You could have one that has hot dogs and popcorn. And now we've extended the menu, but we keep the service as efficient and fast as possible. It's a little bit blurred here because I blew it up, this picture. But we talked about rounding prices. So how much does the chicken and cheese flounder cost? Right here.
$8.
$8. How much is the beef fajita?
$8.
How much is the chicken or beef quesadilla? $8. Specialty vegetarian nachos.
$8 doesn't, that doesn't sound.
This, basically, they've taken that, round the price up to a new level. Everything is $8.
Makes it easy.
Yep. Miller beer, how much is it?
$8.
Souvenir soft drink, $6. Bottled water, $5. So they got everything on the dollar. But they also have credit card machines. Okay? The nice thing about credit card machines and the ability to use your credit cards now is people don't keep track of what they're spending. And so they'll run the tab up to $20 or $30 or $40, not even know they've done that. What's the downside for credit cards?
You gotta wait, get the receipt.
That's exactly right. What does that do to the transaction time?
Makes it longer.
Makes it longer. So you're making a trade-off. You're saying, okay, they'll buy up, but it's going to take a little longer. So we're all concentrating right now on how to get the fastest systems. Here, perceived value. This is what I call double branding, and we'll talk about it when we talk about branding in a minute. What's your perceived value? What do you think about Orville Redenbacher? High quality, low quality?
High quality.
High quality. What do you think about M&M's?
High quality.
High quality. What we're doing here is we're saying the perceived value at Malco happens to be the highest quality popcorn and the highest quality candy. What else are we saying?
Mixing them together.
Mixing them together.
Sweet and salty.
Combos, right? Upsell. The same thing, right here. When you list your menu items, if you want to create a perceived value, look what we have here. Small, medium,
Best value.
best value. And it says right here, free refills. Okay? So if I spend just a little bit more money, I get a larger drink with free refills. One of the things we want to get away from, we're going to talk about menus and descriptions and adjectives. Researchers are now telling us that you don't want to use words like jumbo and giant because people are conscious of the volume, right? They're thinking smaller portions. In our particular case, sometimes we put, instead of best value, we put free refills. So write this down, it might be on your exam. Adjectives are extremely important when advertising your menu. Fresh, hot, handcrafted, microbrew. Adjectives are very important. Can you use too many adjectives?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Here's a question. How many items should you have on your menu in a concession operation?
Like a handful.
Yeah.
Handful, that's good.
No more
That'd be
than-
5.
No more than like 15.
No more than 15. The number's actually 13. Very good, Kevin. But I told you that we're expanding our menus and we're starting to get all this other stuff integrated, right? And I just kind of outlined a minute ago about how we dodge that. So you can have 13 different items at a hamburger stand. You can have a hamburger, you can have a cheeseburger, you can have fries, you can have sodas. I can get to 13 pretty quick, right?
Well, does that include like the different sizes of things?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. So if I said, for example, sodas, and there are 3 sizes in theaters, there are only 2 in stadiums typically. You just have 1 item. Okay. Typically, you wouldn't say, we can go in the same direction with soda brands, right? I mean, Freestyle Machine supposedly has 120 different varieties of soda that you can get. That'd be way too many to put on a fountain because people can't make up their mind what they want, and now the line gets slowed down. It just comes to a standstill. So you might have 6 or 8 brands. So you might have a Coke, you might have a Diet Coke, Coke Zero, what else?
Pepper, Sprite.
Dr. Pepper, Sprite, another
Fruity.
Diet Sprite, Fanta, Minute Maid lemonade. So you get to about 8, right? When you start getting into 14, well, do you have root beer? I wanted Fanta strawberry. Do you have Fanta strawberry? How about orange? No.
I don't like the freestyle machines. Like I know it's convenient that you can like mix them all.
Yeah.
But it just takes forever. And they're
Do you
really
know where they
slow,
made
too.
their best mark?
Where?
The diet offerings. Typically, you get Diet Coke, Coke Zero. You might get Diet Sprite, right?
Not Dr. Pepper.
Diet Dr. Pepper.
They can
But
have
what if you
flavors
wanted
for
a
all.
Diet Cherry or a Diet something else? Now you can hit the diet button and they put in, saccharin water as opposed to syrup, sugar water, and you can make any drink you want and make it 0 calories. That's where they really made their inroads. Signage is very important. We just started talking about this. Menu language. The menu board itself. One of the things that I teach is that every font should be at least 2 inches. So why do I want 2-inch letters?
So you can see them
You can see them from where?
far away.
Far away. Because I want people to start deciding what they want while they're in line. If they're 5 or 6 back, I want them to say, okay, I like that, and I can kind of figure that out. And they make up their mind before they get here. If the font is this small, guess what? They're going to wait till they get right in front of the cashier and then try to make up their mind. Unless they have that preconceived notion when they go to a movie theater, I'm getting a soda and a popcorn, that's it. The other thing that's transition for us is digital signage. Most everything now is visual, and we have some motion. And we found out that we can actually entertain the guest while they're looking at the menu board. So a soda pops up, you see it fill up, and you see the bubbles and the fizz. Kind of looks exciting, right? And that took about 8 to 10 seconds, or maybe even 15 seconds. It distracts you from thinking about how long you're waiting in line. So you can do multiple things with your menu board now. But digital is kind of the way of the future.
You can also make the font bigger too.
Yes,
On the menu.
yes. Exactly. When you design your menu board, you want to put your highest gross profit items on the top line. You want to put the lowest or least favorable in the middle, and then the second most favorable or profitable on the bottom. Why?
So you look through the whole menu.
Nah,
Like
not
looking
really.
for your favorite thing.
What happens is people have a tendency to read the first line.
Mhm.
Like right now, if we all turned and we looked at that sign right there, it says Kemmons Wilson School. Okay? I would say immediately, I would read Kemmons Wilson School. I'm going to remember that, hospitality, resort management. I don't even know what the website is, and it's the University of Memphis. So what we do as humans is we have a tendency to remember, this sticks in our mind. We scan to the bottom, and this is the last thing we think about. Advertisers understand that. So in this particular case, if I looked at that sign, I'd say Kemmons Wilson School, Memphis, University of Memphis. I got it. I didn't see resort management, and I didn't see the website. Same thing with your menu boards when you design your menu. Here's an example. Again, this is TD Gardens. Here's the menu board. Fresh popped classic popcorn. Good adjectives, Yes or no? Yeah, fresh. But how about classic? Classic popcorn. Okay? What are the sizes?
Big.
Big and really big. Not medium and large, not small and large, but big and really big. So I wanted to see what big was. Big was what we do with our kids' trays. It's 46 ounces of popcorn. So it's like a kiddie portion. Really big was kind of like our small portion at Malco, 85 ounces. And they're getting $4 and $5. Again, you can see it's here. Fresh, popped, flavored popcorn. You gotta be careful. Sometimes you can mislead people because in this particular case, they said fresh popped. It was popped on site, but it wasn't popped today. But look here, popcorn's highly profitable, right? What do you think ice cream? Is it as profitable? No. Probably about a 35% cost. This is about a 10% cost, ingredient cost. Cup of cookies, $4. Super pretzel and spicy cheese. Why would you want a spicy cheese cup? To go with the pretzel, right? These two go together. Again, this is another sample of what we're talking about. Oh, let me back up.
Where is
This
that?
is, yeah, where is this?
All those
So,
words.
Marley, can you see this?
Honey, put it on a
Can-
stand.
Can you read that for me?
Deep fried bacon cheddar mashed potatoes on a stick.
Yeah, that's pretty healthy, isn't it?
I'm about-
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Mhm.
Somebody asked, how do you do that? What they do is they take the mashed potatoes and they freeze them, okay? And then they take bacon bits and cheddar cheese and kind of blend it into the mashed potatoes. And then they put a coating on it, some breadcrumbs, and then it's just like a Ronald Pup. They drop it into the fryer, they take it out. This might be a little too much
Nope.
advertising, okay? It might be easier. What do you say?
I
I
said
said they
that's
nailed
perfect.
it.
Oh, you
I
like
love
it?
that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all my
Everybody wants one of
favorite
those, right?
Love it.
Yeah. Good and healthy.
Like a deep fried Oreo.
Yeah. All right. What does this say?
Fresh
Yeah.
popcorn?
Fresh popcorn. How did you get that idea?
Because the giant thing of popcorn next to that.
You didn't read this sign right here?
Well, I did, but that was after I looked at the giant thing of popcorn.
That's exactly right. So when creating your menu, you want to be sure people get the same sort of feeling. You've been to a lot of Malco theaters, you've been to a lot of stadiums. How many times do you see the popcorn in the back stand? You know they have popcorn, right? But what have they done here?
Put it right out in front.
More interestingly, this right here is a linear stand, but notice how this juts out. So that even as you're walking down the
You
concourse,
see it.
you see it from a mile away. You don't have to get right up there in front. You know, if you notice Malco, we do something different than most movie theaters, nearly all movie theaters. Most everybody puts their soda machines on the front counter and all their popcorn is on the back counter.
You put yours in the counter.
We put our popcorn up front just like this with glass displays and warmers. Where do we put the soda machines? On the back counter. That's contrary to what everybody wants to do. Why do we do that?
To make people want to buy the popcorn.
That's exactly right. You see it, you smell it, you can almost touch it. I want some. We know that 50% of the people are going to buy sodas, right? We don't have to upsell sodas. They're going to buy a soda. What we want them to do is see the popcorn that goes with it so we can sell two things. The other thing is, here, they've got like, this would be a cheese display. You see the Haagen-Dazs ice cream in the back? Kind of hard to see. But if you were walking around, you'd know specifically that this was a popcorn station. Look at the decor package. What color is the wallpaper, the vinyl?
Yellow.
Yellow.
And it's popcorn too.
Yeah, it looks like butter, doesn't it? Yeah. Stars and popcorn. Look at the back wall. The wallpaper is popcorn. Now, if I was going to ask one other question, what's the other item they're going to sell the most of here?
Pretzels.
Nope.
Beer.
Nope. They don't have beer. What?
Wow.
Yeah, they do.
Nope.
It says Heineken.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, maybe they do. I'm sorry.
Coke,
Why'd you say Coke?
because all the little signs.
Yeah, Coca-Cola here, Coca-Cola here, fresh popcorn and Coke. Again, if you look at the menu, I think they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items. They got the sodas listed down here, but they didn't go past 13. They did a really good job of this. Let's look at this menu. Same facility,
That's a lot of words.
a lot of words. How big is the font? Are there any graphics?
No. Well, it's the Coca-Cola, it's the only graphic, because it's a special font.
Well, that's a brand, so you got the logo there.
Yeah.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
Way too much going on.
What is cream cheesecake? I've never heard of that.
Where's that?
Like, it's right at the bottom on the second one,
Uh-huh.
it says, like, cream cheesecake.
Oh,
Like, not cheesecake.
cake and cookies and cream cheesecake.
Cream cheesecake.
Ooh.
What
Cream
is that?
cheesecake is going to be a soft cheesecake as opposed to the New York style cheesecake that's really firm and tall.
Huh.
You haven't had Philadelphia cream
Never.
cheesecake?
I know what cream cheese is, I
Yeah.
know what cheesecake is, but
Do you know what Philadelphia
Combination
cream
of the
cheese
two.
is? It's
Yeah.
just like that.
it's
Just
literally just like a thing of cream cheese.
almost, yeah. They put a lot of sugar in it so that it tastes
Oh,
sweet.
God.
Yep.
That's
That's how it's made. It's made with cream cheese.
interesting.
Yeah. So, which menu do you like better? This menu or the past one?
Pass.
We've kind of discussed this all semester, but the menu itself, you have to take into consideration wrappings, cups, trays, and dishes. What are the utensils you're going to use? You know, we're going through a transition right now in our company where we've always used like a 14-ounce clear Solo cup, and we take our beer and we pour it in that and we hand it to you, right? And we've always used like a 9-ounce clear Solo cup, and we put the wine portion in it. Why were we using those vessels, cups?
Because they're clear and you can see what's in it.
That's a good point, yes. They're clear and you can see what's in them. Why else? Why wouldn't we use glassware?
Because it can break.
It's gonna break. Yeah, people are walking around carrying it, they're gonna set it down. It's not like a restaurant where they can put it on a table and sit there. They're very mobile and transient.
It'd be hard to collect all the glasses to clean them, too.
That's exactly right.
You would run
So
out of-
operationally, the efficiency isn't there. So A, we did it because of operational efficiencies. B, we wanted to be safety, sanitation. C, it's easier to count the cups, right? And so that was kind of our process. But guess what we've done? Because of the transition and the perceived value, we've now found a new company called Tossware. And they're really high-end glasses, vessels that you see in restaurants, but it's plastic. They're acrylic. So they're disposable, but it looks exactly like glassware. Why would we do that?
Makes you feel like you're fancy drinking out of a.
Perceived value again. Hey, you know, I'm paying $10 for this mixed drink, but I'm getting it in a restaurant-style glass,
At the
highball
movie
glass.
theater, too.
What's that?
At the movie theater.
At the movie theater.
When you think it would be
Exactly right.
plastic or paper.
You brought up a good point with cups, for example. If we were doing frozen beverages, what kind of a cup would you want to use?
Insulated.
Insulated? Maybe. You want it to be clear because that product's going to sell itself. So as people walk through the lobbies or the corridors or the halls, people can see, oh, look, there's a red icy or there's a green frozen drink or whatever. So you want to keep that in mind. We talked about wrapping earlier. Hot dogs can be put in a sleeve and you roll it up and people can't really tell what the product is. Or you can put it in a coffin like we did, you know, in our demonstration where you can see the hot dog and you can see it's fresh. You can see it's a quarter-pound hot dog. All of this right here would change if in your business you went into, say, skyboxes. What would you do in skyboxes or club level?
Catered event or.
They'd be almost like catering. So then what do? Do you have plastics? You might, but you probably would want to upgrade, right? And use some acrylics or some china, depending on the crowd, the type of people you're serving, the prices you're charging. That's why you pay a different rent structure in catering and skyboxes than you would in concessions and beer. Because you have added expenses. Typically with your menu, we want to think about promotions and highlighting new products. Sampling is very, very important. So you've seen us this semester practice with some things, and I've asked you some questions about some things. And we're going to be unveiling a new product. I didn't get enough of them to bring to you guys. They only sent me one package of each, but I'll ask you your opinion. The growing trend for the next generation of confection buyers, candy buyers, is they're getting away from chocolates and they're going to sours and gummies. And this one company now has produced something called the Gummy Fun Party. It's a fun mix. So you get gummy bears, you get gummy worms, you get like Swedish fish, you get all the different kinds of gummies all in one bag. Would you be in favor or against? All different flavors. So you might have strawberry and blueberry and raspberry and lemon and lime.
Well, I still like chocolate, so no.
Yeah, you're
I'm a
still
chocolate girl.
chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm kind of partial to, I do like the gummy and sour candies, but if I don't want to eat a ton of different ones. I want to stick to like, I just go to Sour Patch Kids and.
Yeah, and stay there. Yeah,
Or just stick with gummy bears, or.
Yeah, just one.
Yeah.
yeah. But even in your gummy bear package, don't you get like different flavors of gummies?
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
still like, I feel like a texture
Yeah, it's all the same
difference.
texture.
Like Swedish fish, like stick to your teeth and
Yeah.
they're chewy,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you get a gummy bear and it's like Jello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I think would be off-putting. to me.
Okay, and so then let's go to like the sour.
I eat a lot of candy.
What about the sour mix?
Yeah, having the sour and then the sweet would throw me off.
Yeah.
I would if I was
Especially
going
if
sour,
you're-
I want
especially
all
if
Well,
you're
no, the bag is going to be all
watching
sour,
movies.
so you're going to be
Oh.
like Airhead bites. It's going to have in
So
it
you could do like a
sour
variety
worms.
And then like a sweet variety.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
well known.
but you still are kind of,
Then I can't eat it.
yeah, as my focus group, you're telling me just to stick with one item.
I
Gummy
just
bears
think the
or
mixture
worms.
of textures would be my main thing.
Especially when you're watching a movie and you aren't like really paying attention to what
Just
you're
kind of
like.
mindlessly
Exactly.
exposure.
Yeah.
You're just gonna be like, whoa, that's sour. That's different than what I just ate a second ago.
Well, okay.
I know.
Anyway,
And that's-
targeting new products and sampling, thank you for your feedback. And then POP stands for point of purchase. So when you see POP marketing, you have to have things out on the counter, or you have to, let people know in advance. They typically say that a customer has to see something 3 times before they'll try it. So if we're going to do it, say at a venue, the first thing you want to do is have something out in front, kind of where the ticket office is. So they get it in their mind, hey, I saw they have 3 different sizes of sodas and the best value, free refills. And then they go into the lobby. If there's anything in the concourse or in the lobby that you can highlight again, another message. That way, when they get to the actual point of sale, when you have counter cards or you have somebody suggestive sell that item, they've heard it for the 3rd time. Typically, we do it 5 times. Because we have, in theaters, we're fortunate enough to have pre-feature entertainment, so we can advertise on the slides before the movie starts. And maybe you don't buy it this time, but the next time you come back to the movie, you might. Bundling is the same thing as packaging combos. So that's a variety of different type of promotions. Did I tell you, we went back to combos. Did I tell you the price of the family combo at Malco?
Well, maybe. But I
Yeah,
don't
right
know.
now, it's $19. So you get 4 drinks, free refills on your popcorn, candy. If you added all that up, do you know what it would cost?
A lot.
$29. So you save $10. So in this particular case, when we're talking about targeting a product, we can also target a particular demographic or group. How many dates are going to buy the family combo? None. How many singles are going to buy the family combo? Right? So only families are really going to be directed to this. So what we've seen now is less smuggling, because the families now come in, they know that everybody can get their own flavored drink. You can get your root beer, you can get your diet, you can get your flavor. Everybody gets their own drink. We don't have to share. We get a big popcorn, and typically when they do that, then the kids get their sours because mom got her chocolate.
I love the terminology, smuggling.
Yeah.
On the smuggler.
It's so funny that people, our customers, I want to include you as customers,
Yeah.
seem to think that we don't know that you bring the trash in or drinks or whatever you do. Do you know how we know what you do?
Because we leave it behind.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's so offensive to me. I can understand somebody
At least
bringing
throw it
their
away.
stuff, okay? But they leave their beer bottles and they leave their soft drink cans and their candy wrappers, and then I have to clean it up.
Yeah, girl.
And then you tell me that my concessions are too expensive. Yeah.
Just leave a trash can out, you know.
Well, we do. You won't
Yeah,
even
they
put it
do.
in a trash can. There are trash cans everywhere.
Yeah, they do.
In the theater?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the actual?
Like when people are leaving, they've rolled trash cans in at the bottom.
Yeah.
So there's always like 2 huge barrels.
We actually
But you've already left your trash at the
Yeah.
seat, so why go back up and get it?
Listen, I don't have to worry about you guys because I know you're going to the drive-in. You're going to bring your own
Yes.
food in. There you
Yes,
go.
I
All right.
am.
And then tie in with ticket sales.
Pizza. Get me pizza and go to the drive-in.
We've done a lot of things with tie-in with ticket sales. We had promotion where we'll give you like a discount coupon, say 50 cents off M&Ms, right? Well, when you buy your ticket and you say, oh, 50 cents off, they have M&Ms, or they have Milk Duds, or they have M&M caramels, which is a new product. We're gonna go in that direction, and we're gonna buy one of those. And guess what? It's the same price as it was, regardless if you got the discount coupon or not. All right, let's do this. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come back at 10:30. Is that okay?